Today's topic is noun genders. As you recall, a noun is a word for a person, place, thing, or idea, and it is always capitalized in German, no matter where it appears in a sentence. In English, we are accustomed to people and animals having genders. You refer to a woman as she, and to a man as he, and if your dog is a boy, then he's a he, but if she's a girl, then she's a she. What makes German a little bit tricky for English speakers is that every single noun, not just the people, has a gender. There are three possible genders in German. Unfortunately for German learners, it's not always predictable what gender a noun will be. You can't look at the noun and tell what it's going to be. Some nouns are masculine, some nouns are feminine, and some nouns are neuter. It's your job as the learner to learn the gender of the noun when you learn the noun itself, so that you will be able to actually use it. Let's talk about masculine nouns first. Here's what all masculine nouns have in common. When you want to say the with a masculine noun, you'll use the word der. When you want to say a, you'll use ein. For example, the German word for table is Tisch, and this is a masculine noun. That means you would say der Tisch if you wanted to say the table, and ein Tisch if you wanted to say a table. The same applies to other masculine nouns like spoon, der Löffel or ein Löffel, pencil, der Bleistift or ein Bleistift, pen, der Kuli, ein Kuli, dog, der Hund, ein Hund, computer, der Computer, ein Computer, and man, der Mann, ein Mann. Now, notice that only one of these nouns, der Mann, has an actual gender in real life according to biology. But because the German word for spoon or computer is a masculine word, those nouns act the same way as man does. Now let's move on to feminine nouns. With masculine nouns, you use der for the and ein for a. But with feminine words, you use die for the and eine for a. So since clock, Uhr, is feminine, you would say die Uhr or eine Uhr. Other feminine nouns would follow the same pattern. Die Tür or eine Tür, die Jeans or eine Jeans, die Frau or eine Frau, die Katze or eine Katze, or die Sonnenbrille and eine Sonnenbrille. Again, notice that the woman is the only thing here that an English speaker would automatically categorize as feminine. But that doesn't actually matter. The other words are feminine in German, so they act the same way. Finally, here's the other category, neuter nouns. Here you use das for the and ein for a. So with window, Fenster, you would say das Fenster for the window and ein Fenster for a window. Other neuter nouns in German include das Wasser, or you could say ein Wasser, das Buch, or ein Buch, for a book, das Schwein, or ein Schwein, for a pig, das Regal, or ein Regal, for a shelf, and das Mädchen, or ein Mädchen, for the girl or a girl, respectively. Mädchen is a word that often confuses English speakers. A typical English speaker would assume that the word girl must automatically be feminine. But it's actually a neuter noun in German. So Mädchen is a pretty good example for a big hint that may help you as you begin to learn the genders of nouns in German. It's really important to keep in mind that it's the word that has the gender, not necessarily the thing itself. Tables are not male, doors are not female. They are not on Facebook interested in male doors or female doors. But the word Tisch is a masculine word. The word tja is a feminine word, and, somewhat surprisingly, the word Mädchen is a neuter word. To illustrate this point even more, let's take the example of the German words for car. You could call a car an Auto, which is a neuter word, so you would say das Auto. But you could use a synonym instead and call the car a Wagen, which is a masculine word, der Wagen. This may seem confusing, but keep in mind that it is the word, not the car itself, that has a gender. The gender hasn't changed because the car has changed. Nothing about the car has changed, except the word we're using. So the gender has changed because the word you're using has changed. Because the genders of nouns can be so unpredictable, it is extremely important that you learn the genders of the nouns when you learn the nouns themselves. It is not enough to know that the word for car is Auto. If you don't also know its gender, you can't say the word. You can't use the word, since without the gender, you wouldn't know if you should say der Auto, die Auto, or das Auto. The good news, though, is that context clues can be a big help as you learn the genders of nouns. When you see or hear the word, you can often figure out the gender based on the clues you see or hear in German. If you use der with the word, then you know it's masculine. If you hear die, then you know it's feminine. If you hear das, then you'll know it's neuter. With the words for a, it's a little trickier, since ein could go with a masculine or neuter word, but at least eine is a giveaway word. If you hear eine with a new noun, then you know that that word is feminine. Let's review, since this is a tricky topic for English speakers. Unlike in English, every single German noun has a gender, either masculine, feminine, or neuter. With masculine nouns, you'll use der for the and ein for a. With feminine nouns, you'll use die and eine. And with neuter nouns, you'll use das for the and ein for a. Because of this, you absolutely must know the gender of a word in order to actually use it when you speak or write. So it is very important that you learn the word's gender.